Have you ever looked up at the sky and seen a plane? Of course you have, but have you ever wondered why so many of them share a similar color? Now let's narrow that down. Look at the modern military drones coming out of China. The Wing Loong, the CH-5, the WZ-7 Soaring Dragon. They are almost universally, strikingly white. In a world of camouflage, stealth, and tactical gray, why paint these eyes in the sky white? It seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like painting a target on your own back. The answer is far more complex and clever than you might assume. It's not just a random aesthetic choice. This is a story that involves physics, chemistry, global politics, and very smart engineering. The white paint is a calculated choice, balancing concealment and survival at extreme altitudes. It reveals how these machines operate, where they fly, and who China wants to sell them to. The white paint is a clue, hiding a web of technical and strategic reasoning. Before we dive into the science, these are hail drones, not small quadcopters you might fly in your back garden. Massive, sophisticated aircraft, wingspans rivaling a Boeing 737, designed to fly for days, cruising at 30,000 feet or even 60,000 feet. Up there the rules change. First, let's get on the same page. What a military drone or unmanned aerial vehicle actually is. Forget the small buzzing devices used for wedding photography. We're talking about sophisticated, often autonomous military aircraft. These aircraft can perform a huge range of missions without risking a pilot's life. They are the military's eyes, ears, and sometimes its sword. Surveillance, reconnaissance, intelligence gathering, electronic warfare, and precision strikes. China's ambition in this field is no secret. Over the past 2 decades, the country has invested enormous resources, and it has succeeded spectacularly. State-owned company, Aviation Industry Corporation of China. State-owned company, China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation. Models like the Wing Loong series, often compared to the American MQ-9 Reaper. The CH, or Rainbow family, offers a wide range of capabilities. These drones are not just for China's own People's Liberation Army, they have become a major export success, sold to the Middle East, Africa, Asia. This rapid development is a cornerstone of China's military modernization strategy. Drones are seen as a key component of informatized warfare, a concept where winning depends on achieving information superiority over the adversary. By deploying vast networks of drones, a military can see more, know more, and react faster than its opponent. China's high-altitude drones like the WZ-7 Soaring Dragon are particularly important. They are designed to operate in the near-space environment, flying so high that they are difficult to detect and intercept, providing a persistent watch over vast areas of land and sea, such as the South China Sea or the Taiwan Strait. So, when we talk about the color of these machines, we are not just discussing a paint job. One of the most important and perhaps surprising reasons for the white paint is something we all learn in primary school science class. White reflects heat. While this seems simple, at 50,000 feet, it becomes a critical engineering challenge. At such high altitudes, the air is thin, solar radiation is intense and unfiltered. A dark-colored aircraft would absorb a tremendous amount of this energy, heating the surface and the sensitive electronics inside. This phenomenon is known as solar gain. It can be a drone's worst enemy, even in the freezing cold of the stratosphere. Think about the components packed inside a modern hail drone. Flight computers, high-resolution cameras, sophisticated sensors, satellite communication, arrays, data links. All of these electronics generate their own heat during operation. Add intense, uninterrupted solar radiation, you get a serious thermal management problem. Overheating leads to system malfunction, sensor degradation, outright failure. By painting the drone white, engineers use a simple, passive method to reflect most incoming solar radiation, keeping internal temps stable without heavy, power-hungry active cooling. This choice ties into the materials used to build these drones. Modern high-altitude aircraft aren't primarily metal, carbon fiber fiberglass. The epoxy resins that bind them can be sensitive to UV and extreme temperature swings. A protective, reflective white coating acts as a shield, preventing UV from degrading the composite airframe over long missions. It's like sunscreen for the drone. So the first part of our answer is purely technical. White is passive thermal management, a low-tech solution to a high-tech problem. When every gram and every watt matters, a reflective paint coat beats extra cooling fans, radiators, insulation. It helps the drone perform reliably for long durations in the sun-baked upper atmosphere. It's not about looks, it's about physics and survival. Now let's move from the technical to the tactical. Your first thought might be that, White is the worst possible color for camouflage. If you were trying to hide a drone against the dark green of a forest or the brown of a desert, you would be absolutely right. But China's high-altitude drones are not operating there. They are designed to fly at altitudes between 30,000 feet and 60,000 feet, far above the clouds and commercial air traffic. From the ground, an object at that height is just a tiny speck, if it's visible at all. The real threat isn't someone looking up from the ground, it's another aircraft looking at it from the side or from above. Think about the background at that altitude. It's not the ground. During the day, the background is often the bright, hazy, pale blue sky or the brilliant white tops of clouds. A white or light gray aircraft blends in remarkably well against this backdrop. It's a concept known as counterillumination, where an object's color is chosen to match its background. A dark-colored drone would create a stark, easily visible silhouette against the bright sky, making it a simple target for enemy fighter jets or air-to-air missiles. By being white, the drone effectively disappears into the glare of the upper atmosphere. This is especially true when viewed from below. The human eye, or an enemy sensor looking up towards the sunlit sky, has to contend with an immense amount of ambient light. A white object reflects this light, making its own silhouette less defined and harder to distinguish from the bright, hazy background. It breaks up the drone's shape and makes it fade into the atmospheric haze. This is why many air superiority fighter jets like the F-22 Raptor are painted in a two-tone scheme, a darker gray on top to blend with the ground when viewed from above, and a lighter gray or white on the bottom to blend with the sky when viewed from below. Furthermore, the white isn't always a pure, brilliant white. It's often a specific off-white or light gray shade that has been carefully selected to best match the typical luminance of the sky at its intended operational altitude. So, far from being a liability, the white color is in fact a highly effective form of camouflage for the specific environment where these drones are designed to dominate. It's hiding in plain sight. China is not alone in its meticulous choice of drone coloration, but its preference for white on high-altitude platforms is distinctive on the global landscape. The United States is the world leader in drone tech. Its famous MQ-1 Predator, MQ-9 Reaper, almost always painted medium gray. This color, called Compass Ghost Gray, is a compromise for concealment against sky and ground. General-purpose solution for medium-altitude, multi-terrain drones. U.S. Navy variations, MQ-25. Stingray uses tactical gray like carrier fighters, blends with the carrier air wing, camouflages against sea-sky. Russia and others use a different approach for low-altitude tactical drones. Russian Orlan 10 often in disruptive camo, green-brown sand like traditional army vehicles. Israel favors light gray or off-white for Heron surveillance drones. Like China's Hail, they loiter high. Light color gives thermal benefits and sky camouflage. The choice of color reflects a nation's military doctrine, its technological capabilities, and the specific environments where it expects to deploy assets. The US opts for versatile gray while battlefield-focused nations choose camo. China's white signals focus on high-altitude operations, persistent stratospheric surveillance, not low-level strikes. Specialization enables optimized design choices. A country's strategic priorities can be painted on its hardware. The global drone color palette is a visual language communicating intent and capability. The tactical advantage of white goes beyond just what the human eye can see. Modern warfare is a battle of sensors. The color and composition of a drone's surface are engineered to defeat many detection methods. The most obvious is visual detection. By matching the brightness of the sky, a white drone reduces its contrast. It becomes much harder for a pilot or an optical camera system to lock onto. But the real game is in parts of the electromagnetic spectrum invisible to us. Infrared, radar. Let's talk IR. Every object emits heat. IR sensors, like those on heat-seeking missiles, see that thermal signature. Hotspots, engine, hotspots, exhaust. Hotspots, leading edges of wings heated by air friction. The drone's overall surface temperature matters too. White surfaces reflect solar radiation and stay cooler than dark ones. A cooler airframe lowers the total thermal signature. That makes the drone less of a glowing target on an enemy IR display. It won't hide the hot engine, but it reduces contrast with the cold upper atmosphere background, complicating the job of a heat-seeking sensor. Now, radar, the main long-range detection method. Paint usually doesn't affect radar, but modern military coatings are far from traditional. Color doesn't matter to radar, but paint can be infused with radar-absorbent materials. RAM, tiny, often iron-based particles. They absorb radar energy and convert it to a tiny bit of heat, instead of reflecting it back. That can shrink the detection range, giving the drone an advantage. So white handles thermal and visual camouflage, while the paint is likely a sophisticated multi-layered cocktail. Pigments for color, polymers for durability and UV protection, RAM for stealth. The simple white coating is actually a complex defensive system. When people first notice China's white drones, a few common theories and myths tend to pop up. One persistent idea: the white color is a political statement meant to make drones look less aggressive. Peace drone or civilian-style argument. White evokes commercial airliners, white evokes scientific research aircraft, so the claim, China wants a softer image for export markets. Appealing narrative, psychological operation with paint. Maybe a tiny grain of marketing truth, but it falls apart under scrutiny. Buyers in the Middle East or Africa buy weapons systems, not passenger jets. They care about surveillance capabilities, payload capacity, combat effectiveness, not whether it looks friendly. Many drones, like the Wing Lung, are sold as armed hunter-killer platforms. Painting a missile-laden drone white doesn't make it peaceful. Another misconception: white is cheaper or easier to apply. People assume white is a base color, and camouflage adds cost. That's incorrect. Military-grade coatings are complex and expensive regardless of color. Preparing an airframe and applying a durable, multi-layered paint system that can withstand extreme temperatures, UV radiation, high-speed airflow is a major undertaking. The cost difference between high-altitude white and tactical gray is negligible for a multi-million-dollar aircraft. The truth is rooted in the hard science of high-altitude flight. Passive thermal management, high-altitude counter-illumination camouflage. Engineering reality beats speculative fiction. It's not about saving a few yuan or fooling the world into thinking a drone is a harmless science project. It's about giving the aircraft the best chance to complete its mission and return home. Narrator, VO. So, we come full circle. Narrator, VO. The simple white color of China's high-altitude drones is not so simple after all. Narrator, VO. It's a carefully calculated decision born from the unforgiving laws of physics and the brutal logic of modern warfare. Narrator, VO. It is a masterful solution that simultaneously, Narrator, VO, solves the problem of intense solar heating. Narrator, VO, protects the advanced composite airframe from UV degradation. Narrator, VO, provides effective visual camouflage in the bright hazy environment of the upper atmosphere. Narrator, VO. It is a choice that prioritizes Narrator, VO, performance. Narrator, VO, endurance. Narrator, VO, survivability. Narrator, VO, the lonely, harsh expanse of near space. Narrator, VO. This seemingly minor detail tells us a great deal about the nature of future conflict. Narrator, VO. As nations invest more in anti-access and area denial strategies. Narrator, VO. The ability to see and operate from extreme altitudes far beyond the reach of most conventional air defenses becomes paramount. Narrator, VO. Drones like the WZ-7 Soaring Dragon Narrator, VO, and the Wing Lung series Narrator, VO, are not just aircraft, they are persistent eyes in the sky, key nodes in a vast information network. Narrator, VO. Their design choices, including their color, signal a strategic focus on long range, long endurance, surveillance, reconnaissance. Narrator, VO. As drone technology continues to proliferate around the globe, understanding these design nuances becomes increasingly important. Narrator, VO. It allows analysts to deduce a drone's intended mission, its likely operational altitude, and the strategic thinking of the nation that built it, all from a single visual clue. Narrator, VO. The contrast between America's general-purpose gray Narrator, VO, and China's specialized high-altitude white Narrator, VO, is a perfect illustration of differing, though sometimes overlapping, military doctrines. Narrator, VO. One is the color of a global air force. The other is the color of a power focused on dominating its regional airspace from above. Narrator, VO. The next time you see a picture of a sleek white Chinese drone, you'll know it's not a fashion statement or a marketing gimmick. Narrator, VO. You'll see it for what it is, a piece of brilliant multidisciplinary engineering. Narrator, VO. It's a thermal shield. Narrator, VO. A form of camouflage. Narrator, VO. And a protective skin all in one. Narrator, VO. It's a silent testament to a strategy focused on the high frontier of aerial warfare. Narrator, VO. And it's a reminder that in the world of military technology, even the most obvious and simple-looking choices are often the result of some very, very clever thinking.